Did he right click and find synonym? Like,
Dude, I used to use the fuck out of that tool in high school, where it was like, it was very good, and you like just right click very, and a billion words show up.
It was outstandingly significant. You're like, yeah, it's close enough.
And then you like read through it later, and it's like, this doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Some, like
I picked too
mumbled
many big
fucking
words.
garbage.
Yeah, man, high school was both a ton of fun and also
awful,
terrible. Because like trying to like at the time, you don't know the level of freedom you're not experiencing. Because that's just life.
It seems oppressive.
Okay.
And then now thinking about going back, it's like, fuck, that seems awful.
Really?
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's exactly the opposite for me.
Yeah, Taylor.
Really? You would want to go back to high school?
Yeah, I mean, in high school, I had no responsibilities at all.
No.
Anything.
You have to put yourself in the position where you did have responsibilities, and just like your job, they had real world consequences. Like, I don't know what kind of student everybody was, but I was attempting to be a good one. So the thought of like I would fake sick to stay home from school to play like games, maybe like once a quarter I could get away with it. And every single time that I would go back to school the next day, I was just like, why the fuck did I do like this? Is now I got to do all this extra homework. I got to catch up on the coursework. Like, I would never go back. I enjoyed college infinitely more the 1 year that I went.
For sure.
I had so much more free time and stuff like that. But like looking back, I would never go back to that. That is awful compared to the freedom that I have as an adult. Even if I have less like free time, like the free time I have, so much more fun.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Woody.
What are your thoughts, Bruce? I want to
hear Woody first because I think Woody's along with me.
If I were to do high school again, right? This is the adult. I'd be good at it, right? Now, there's some things I can't fix. I can't be bigger and stronger. And that was an issue for me. You guys might not know. I hit puberty at like 16 or something. It was awful, right? I broke 100 pounds. I broke 100 pounds as a sophomore in high school. So that's not going to fix it. I'm still going to have this, like, the thing to overcome where everyone can beat me up, and that kind of sucks. But I don't know. I'd never talk my way into trouble because I'd just be a little wiser about that. I'd manage my workload. It's not that hard to get good grades in high school. And I eventually got a lot more education. So I learned how to do well at school, and I didn't know the first time through. If I were to do high school again, I think I'd just be more successful in almost every regard. It wouldn't be so bad. College, that might be the peak. If I could do college again, like when I went to day school, I'd be really good at that. It's not even that hard to do well in college grades. And then, like the social part of it, I did well there. Masters, fuck that. It was really hard for me to do well. That was all the cognitive horsepower I had just to keep pace with the class. And it was a lot of work. I was happy when it was done and demotivated to do any more school. So.
It was the same with me. It was when I finished college. That was exactly so. Like high school for me was weird because I could in high school I had no problem with my senior year of high school, which is the only thing I really remember about high school. Anyways, was my last year, and it was simple. Like I just skated through it, straight A's, no problem. And I was making friends, and I finally had sort of come into my own of the fact that I knew who I was and knew that I could talk to people, et cetera, et cetera. But I went to college. All of a sudden, there was an oppressive responsibility on me. And
really?
I don't know what it was. As soon as I got to college, I was like, oh, fuck, I got to get a degree. I have to make sure that I'm working 40 hours a week in addition to getting a degree. And it was all of these things all piled on me. And computer science was a rough degree. And it wasn't like, it was hard, but it was also just a lot of work in general. And so when I got out of college, I felt like you, Woody. I was like done with it. I was like never going back to college. I couldn't wait to get to the workforce because I hated school. I hated the system. I hated the way teachers could affect your grade, whether or not you were doing good work or bad work. I hated all that shit. So for me, high school was always easier. I don't know why. I'm not sure. But
it's definitely fun.
It was fine. But when I went from high school to college, so high school, take it with a grain of salt because I only went to 1 year of college. So it was all the gen eds, but also in high school, like I had a very different experience because I was an hour away from my high school and it was a private school, but it was not like a non-denominational one. It was like the most relaxed non-prep school that you could think of. It was a Quaker school. It was just like, whatever. so that was like basically in my head, I was at school from 6:45 until 6 p.m. every day. And then I had to drive home and all this shit. But like you were there in some capacity, like at school, working at school, doing things related to school for at minimum 8 hours a day. And then I went to college. It was the easiest, most enjoyable transition I've had because you have 3 to 4 hours of classes every day and maybe 3 to 4 hours of homework if you were taking like some serious courses, you know, some like 401s. And like I just realized, oh, if I'm just working at pace, I'm still with 3-ish hours of free time more than I would have had in high school, just in terms of like the things that I'm doing academically, which, you know, and then you have like the communal aspect. I would much like, I sort of not regret, but like I wish that I would have been able to, in a different path, go through the entirety of college because it was so much easier, more like put together than high school was, which was like drill sergeant, like you're here. College is just like, choose your class time, choose what you kind of want to do. Like, what are you interested in? How much work do you want to put in?
If you don't do a STEM major, like if you're not doing engineering or
like a double
physics
major,
or something, like college is easy as shit. Like it's really not that. They don't make as much money if you have to drop out. They don't want anybody dropping out. They want paying customers the whole way through. And so they have a vested interest in keeping it pretty fucking easy.
I'm thinking about my high school. So Bruce doesn't know, but I had a 1.98 GPA when I graduated. Right. So I was a terrible student. Yeah.
Wow.
And I just didn't do anything. And you'd think a guy that fucked about in high school the whole time was kind of carefree, but that's not how it really was. It was just always this like pressure of failure, pressure of not doing well. And I didn't respond by working harder. I just responded by like dodging more, putting it aside, procrastinating, and it turned into this sort of cycle of awfulness that wasn't a pleasurable way to go through school. The adult me would have been able to get good grades without, you know, killing myself.
I mean, you learned about how to manage that throughout your college and your work career, so I guess it makes sense that you'd be able to look back and be like, yeah, I kind of know how to manage that better.
By the time I got 2 undergrads and 1 master's. By the time I finished that, I became a good student. But I was just slow to pick it up, slower than like Taylor, who I think did well in high school.
Yeah, I did real good in high school, but like that's because I'm so anal about shit. Like I would, even in college, I'd like want to be like, it's because I like it in my ass so much. That is because I like being molested by prison strongmen so much.
Better than sounding.
Yeah, but like I just didn't get it. Like I had so many friends that ended up dropping out because they failed too many classes where they'd be like, hey, Taylor, come on, let's go get fucked up. And I'd be like, it's Thursday at 11:15 a.m. Like, what? Even if we did right now, what would we do later tonight? Just feel sad and shitty and fall asleep early? Like, why?
Have you guys been to your, I'm showing my age. So my 10-year anniversary for high school is in 2 years. And so
you're showing you're a puppy. Carry on.
Yeah. That's
mine was this
year.
Oh,
I misunderstood. I thought you were like, you know, I'm getting up there.
No, I'm not. I'm saying like, hey, you know, I have not hit that moment, but like, part of me is very excited because I will absolutely be making that trip across the country on my own dollar to just see what everybody's up to.
First class.
But on the other side, it's also like, what's the level of like parading around that you do there, you know, like because I know specifically that there are a couple people that were, you know, very popular in the top of the class and all that stuff who did a stint in prison and rehab, and they're gonna be there because they live with their parents, and it's just like what's the proper approach to that? You just walk in, you're like, got a huge dick, honestly, it's just giant. Or like, I mean, not that I would do that, it's just like a very confusing environment because I haven't seen any of these people in 10 years.
Well, you show up in a helicopter.
You show up in a helicopter and you just throw money at all the PIs.
You have Woody deliver you by paramotor.
Oh,
that's not as cool as helicopter.
No, I was just curious. Like,
he's like, the fact that I'm strapped into your front backpack makes this less cool.
Is this a baby Bjorn? Yeah.
Did you say Bjorn?
me and my good friends in high school, we still keep in touch. We're still good buddies.
I still have
a group of us. Yeah,
the group
and
is good. Yeah.
like for the longest time, like in our group text, I'd be like, "When the fuck is our high school 10-year reunion?" Because I graduated high school in 2009, and so it was this year. And
you're only 2 years older than me.
Yeah, only 2 years older.
Huh.
Just and so like we were all shit talking about it, like nobody's setting it up, and then I was at a friend's wedding like 2 weeks ago, also a high school friend's wedding who isn't in our group chat, not as close, and I was like, man, it fucking sucks, nobody had a high school reunion for us, right? And he's like, oh no, that happened, like we had a high school reunion. Did you not join like the Facebook group?
Oh, did you not get invited?
I don't do Facebook, and so like I just missed out on it. And apparently none of the people like of my immediate friends got invited, even though like at least half of them do Facebook. Ooh. And so that just means we were the cool kids.
Yeah, that's what that means. They like you so
much. They don't want
those
cool guys to bring drugs and alcohol, even though we're 28 now.
I was
so
just
Tucker,
curious, like,
I know the answer you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Peacocking at a high school reunion doesn't make you cool.
So Woody's right. It
was more like maybe I phrased that wrong. Is it uncomfortable? Like, should I just not go because I don't necessarily like the people that I immediately care about, sure. my close group of friends. They have been out, visited me. We've hung out this year. So like the people that I actually give a shit about and do keep in touch with, I've already seen them, right? I see them every year if I can. So like, what's the point of going to the high school reunion in general? And is it even like,
you want to know, right? Just go, be friendly, take an interest.
I'm just like, what are you doing?
Just go.
Yeah, I want to see who got fat, who died.
Nobody's died in my class, which is nuts.
That is pretty crazy.
I have a small class. I have a 100-person small class, though.
Take an interest in other people. See what's up. Enjoy your night. Be friendly. You'll have a good time.
So. My 10-year high school reunion was awesome. Because I got to see 3 or 4 people that I hadn't seen in a while, and they're great, and I love them. When I saw them, we connected. But the rest of the people there, I had a huge graduating class of about 1,000 kids. And,
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, and there were only about 150 people there. So the 150 people that I knew there were like, I kind of sort of knew them a little bit. So what I did was got super fucking drunk with my friends. Got super fucking drunk. We all then did what he just said, which is like go up and like talk to people and be like, "Oh, what's going on? Like, I recognize you. How are things going, et cetera, et cetera." And I just sort of inquired to see how people were doing and what was happening. And then I guess really if you walk away from it and you sort of use it as a measuring stick of where everybody is in their life versus where you are, maybe that's something that you can do. For me, it was like, I was like, okay, well, I'm on pace.
No. So I know this is not standard, but we had a 5-year reunion, which is the most irrelevant thing in the world because everybody should just be getting out of college, right? So I went to that one because my parents were still living in Baltimore. And again, like the people that showed up to the way that my high school did it was they did it with 10-year chunks. So there was a 5-year, a 10-year, and a 15-year all at the same time. So I wouldn't know 70% of the people there, right? Like they would be literally 5 years older than me. So they weren't even in the same like class bracket as me. Mm-hmm. So it was just like a select group of people in my age group that had showed up. And then they did like a after bar party thing where, you could go to for just my specific age group. And to that, a lot of people showed up who were local, who were, visiting family, whatever. And it was that point I was like, why did I come? Like, what's the point of going to reunions when everybody's just kind of like, I'm just still trying to like find a foothold and figure out what I'm trying to do. Even 10 years, which is in 2 years, still feels kind of short in terms of like I know what I'm doing. And like, I've got these people have like 3 years of experience in whatever they're doing. I get it, but it just seems a little bit premature to get involved with anybody and be like, so what are your plans for the next 10 years? You know what I mean?
I literally just wanted to see who got fat. That's
okay.
Dude, that was so disappointing. My high school, fucking well preserved. Like I thought I was going to go back there as a not fat person, right? Especially in 2001. And nobody was fat. Everybody was, all the women were hot. All the guys were fit. Like
I just leave.
Yeah, I was-
This isn't nearly as hilarious as I was imagining. We're out of here, Jack.
Yeah, like dates were commenting like this class is well preserved. No one went downhill yet.
No, yeah, that's what happened to me. I was in Santa Barbara, and I showed up to the Santa Barbara High School reunion, and everybody's fucking hot, and like they look amazing. And I'm like, yeah, all right, like I'm still a fucking nerd.
I always wonder if it's like a geographical thing, because I find it hard. Like like going to SoCal events and stuff like that. People are too attractive down here. Whether they immigrated or whatever. Just like people just tend to look too good. But like,
thank you, Tucker. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're hot.
I'm
as
in a
fuck.
hotel lobby feeling
very cute.
underdressed.
That's
What's the
what I'm
dress
saying,
code for a lobby? Like
nothing.
right?
But I'm like, like Baltimore. Like I would hope that some people have at least like fallen off the cliff a little bit.
That's what I was thinking. St. Louis, people have to fall off. It's a depressing city to be in a lot of the time.
It's like,
Just because the Blues won the Stanley Cup doesn't mean people aren't degenerates.
They're all imports mostly.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
all input. Truly.
No,
Oh,
not a
God.
lot of imports in this city.